Well, he's back. Texas Governor Rick Perry taking on the president over the impact of those spending cuts just off the national stage at the Conservative Political Action Conference, where he joins us right now. Governor, good to have you.
Good to be with you, Neil. Thank you, sir.
They were enjoying you, loving you, whooping and hollering for you. But you're right about sequestration. Some of the feared Armageddon never materialized, but we're told that it's just a matter of time. What do you think of that?
Well, this president is all about political spin, and it's hurting people. And when you look at the number of criminal aliens that have been turned out on the streets, we found out today that some 2,200 plus those individuals were released back out into the general population in our country, 760 plus of them in my home state. And we can't get an answer from the federal government about who these people are, whether they were released from, what were their crimes. That is of great concern. This is past political theater now. This is where citizens of this country's lives are being put in jeopardy. When you compound that with what's happened to the military and the huge cuts that we've seen in our military, this president is truly playing with fire.
But you're not saying that we shouldn't be open to cuts in the military, right? I mean,
not at all.
All right, so you would be open to that. Now, when I had Senator Coburn here talking about sort of a grand bargain on the part of Democrats and Republicans, he listed $360 billion worth of defense cuts over the next 10 years. Do you think there's room for that, and that Republicans have to put that, their most holiest of grails, on the table to get Democrats to put some entitlements on the table? And if we don't do that, or you don't see that, progress on this thing isn't ever going to happen.
Yeah, well, here's what I think is important to understand. Already, the military, 50% of the cuts that have occurred with the sequestration and with the other budget cuts, 50% of those cuts have come from the military, which makes up 18% of that entire budget. So the military has already faced substantial cuts.
Republicans agreed to that. Might have been a foolish choice, but they agreed to it.
But here's my point. Start looking into other areas in government to be cutting before you go. When other areas of government have raised to the level that the military has cut, then we'll talk some more about if there's more that needs to be done, but no more from my perspective.
So if Republicans were to entertain another sequestration deal or a backbone on spending deal, this would not be it.
Go into the entitlements. I mean, we haven't talked about entitlements at all during this. This is the place to be looking, but not in our military. I mean, we got young men and women whose lives are being put at jeopardy now because of politics that's been placed in Washington, D.C. That is unacceptable.
All right, so when you talk about entitlements, you would be open to raising the retirement age, one of the things that Paul Ryan has broached and others, you'd be open to that?
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I think we ought to look at federal employees, military, maybe moving that to 25 years rather than 20, going from 65 to 67 for our entitlement age that you're ready to get those types of benefits. Those are common sense approaches to be able to put this budget in the shape that it needs to be in the out years.
Governor Perry, good seeing you again. Thank you very much.